the Liv accounts for 2024 have come out from both US and UK, and the losses which have been incurred by Liv over that period of time, that year, is at £1.1 billion, $1.4 billion, and that's across. Effectively, they have a UK branch and a US branch, and it's one company, but like the UK side covers the rest of the world, and the US kind of covers it. And that total expenditure, that loss, is at $1.4 billion, which is since the league started hosting tournaments in the summer of 2022.
Yeah, that's a lot of money in not a lot of space time.
Which is, a fair amount of cash.
Are they bothered about making money though?
Because they made it back in 2 weeks.
1.1 billion is a lot of money, but probably for these guys, it's not loads of money, if you know what I mean.
It's a tricky one because you have the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. That's the body which is funding everything that kind of Liv do, but also you've got PIF, the Public Investment Fund, and the Public Investment Fund also funds lots of different private equity groups and banks and all the rest of it, and then they invest into different things. So we are talking about Liv, and we're talking about these big losses that they've incurred, but also the amount of money which has been invested from the Public Investment Fund across the world into different things is absolutely massive. Some of those things would have worked, and some of those things will be not working.
Right, so you're saying that they maybe have made loads of money somewhere else and are okay taking a little hit on Liv because stuff's up overall.
I would say on balance, I have absolutely no idea about this, obviously, but you would probably say on balance across the entire world that they've probably made some good bets and some bad bets. But also, at the same time, they are literally printing money in the background.
Again, I guess it all just funnels that. I guess it depends on where you kind of stand with it. But for me, it's just then I look at it like, what is Liv Golf's point? Like, what is it trying to do then with like pumping all this money into it, paying these players massive amount of money? What's
the point?
At the end of the day, what are we doing it for? Maybe I'm being a bit too. It's just too simple in that mindset. But like, obviously, when it first stemmed and when it came out, like there was obviously this, kind of little kickback or retaliation about how the PGA Tour in general is just not doing a good enough job with its players and whatever. So what is... Now we're 3 years down the line and these big losses they're taking and all this kind of stuff. What is it? Where does it go? What's it trying to do now to kind of show to people that it was worth all this time and effort and £1.4 billion of money?
Yeah. I think they're at a bit of a tricky point because they have the money to invest. Yeah. And what the argument would be is they would say, well, what we're doing here is we're building a golf tour literally from scratch. Mm-hmm. So if you think about European Tour, PGA Tour, whatever, those tours have had a massive amount of time to build up to the organization that they are now. Whereas Liv would say, well, we're doing all that within a few years. So it's going to cost money for the amount that it's going to cost Man United to build their new stadium. If you look at the new figures. So you would say, okay, on that side of things, all right, fair enough. You've had to get all these players, you've had to organize these tours, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, it's kind of like this isn't just investment. This is what you've lost. Mm-hmm. This isn't the total which has been invested. This is the amount which has been lost. Mm-hmm. So even more money than this has been put into the Liv Tour. Yeah. And you would say that if you look at from a commercial, from a viewership standpoint, from an engagement standpoint, it hasn't worked yet.
Yeah.
And I don't think it shows much sign of really cracking into the public mainstream.
I don't think there's anything that's been done in the last couple of years that's kind of shifted my perspective on it in terms of, I can see where that's going now. I think they've made little subtle changes and they've done a few things, but nothing from my perspective that I think that goes, all right, now I really kind of get it. But I guess what you're saying is what they could turn around and be like, okay, look at us now. Yes, we've lost a lot of money, but the way we think this is going in 10, 15 years time, then look at it. But then I guess on the flip side of that is that realistically, and I guess it's the same way what people say about going in and owning a football club, like that's not, you're not going to make money out of it. And it's hard to kind of see in this regard, like how you would think, oh, Liv is a money-making tool.
Yeah, but are they there
for PIF?
Yeah, but the thing is, are they there to make money?
Exactly, and that's my point.
Is their goal to be profitable, or is their
so
goal
they look
to
at this
build?
and go, well, okay, fine. Again,
Cool.
you know, in the PIF, you know, are they in the red or black just in general? Then yeah, you're probably right. They are in the black from...
PIF's never going to be in the red.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
the thing.
The 1.1 billion...
Have a look what it's actually worth.
Just dig up some more of that. Dig up some more of that black stuff out of the ground and sell it.
So it's in the trillions.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, as far as... it is wild to think that 1.1 billion pounds is not an insurmountable amount for them to replenish pretty quickly, just from interest on what they currently have in the bank, which is absolutely wild. But also, I think a lot of this, how much is it in total?
God. It is among the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world, with a total estimated assets of 941 billion US dollars.
Jeez.
941 billion.
So almost a trillion.
It's up. They're up 11% from last year.
Which
is again in the bigger the bigger picture.
Now this doesn't seem like that much.
Well,
this seems fine now.
And that's what they're probably all sat around the table just going, all right.
Okay, cool.
We'll take it.
And a lot of this, bear in mind, they're doing this, like I said, across everything. I mean, the cities that they're building, for example,
The line.
in Saudi, the line, which looks weird as hell, but it's kind of, they've got a certain amount of money that they're willing to lose, I think, to set these things up. But also, I don't know, I kind of get the feeling that Liv was introduced as a way to get into professional golf, but also to, I think eventually to try and make a bit of a deal with PGA, with European Tour.
Where's that gone, by the way? Where's the PGA Tour deal gone?
Well, I think we can get into this in a second, actually, because what we've had a look at is we've had a look at Liv, obviously making these big losses, but then we're looking at the other tours as far as PGA Tour, European Tour, and how they're all structured and how they work. Yeah, because it's a different conversation. Because if you remember, only probably 12 months ago now, the news was about Liv or PIF kind of buying a stake within the PGA Tour. Not a controlling stake, but a seat at the table.
I felt like we were all sat kind of just waiting for it to be announced. And like a 12-month period later, we're all like, you're quite right. Where the bloody hell has that gone?
Yeah. And it was all to do, as far as I'm aware, the actual hold-up within this deal is all about how the PGA Tour is structured. Because the PGA Tour is a tax-exempt organisation. It's a non-for-profit because it exists for its members. PGA Tour has a profit arm, I think they'd call it.
Yeah, like a new enterprise arm.
PGA Enterprises.
Which would be the shops, for example, I imagine. Things like that. But the actual tour itself is all about being for the benefit of the players.
Yeah. Charitable.
Air quotes going on.
They're so good, aren't they?
This is like Rolex being a charitable organisation kind of thing. So fair enough. It's set up like that. They've managed to do that. Fantastic. Great for them. So 2023 were the most recent. So they had a revenue of 1.8 billion compared to 1.9 in 2022, with expenses totaling 1.9 billion.
Hey, those numbers seem to match up
pretty good,
quite nicely, don't they?
But if you're a not-for-profit, that's kind of like almost. You will have savings, but the point is we've got this much money in, this much money to spend, this much money to allocate, should we say? So what the deal and what the problem is if Liv buy a stake in the PGA Tour, you're investing money not into a not-for-profit. You're investing money into all of a sudden you've got this huge money coming into the PGA Tour, and that's not for the benefit of the players. That's for the benefit of Liv having access to the PGA Tour. And it's also about kind of foreign governments investing in like American companies and stuff like that. As a whole thing.
And Greg Norman finally going.
It's all the politics
behind
and
the
the big
scenes,
hold up behind it. So it doesn't look like that's going to actually happen. Yeah. Which, considering a year ago was nailed on.
Oh, it was like, this time by Christmas we'll be...
it did feel like...
I remember it was like, the deadline is in December, and they're going to be.
Hold on, wasn't it almost exactly 12 months ago? Because didn't what's his name from PIF play in the
Yeah,
Dunhill
they played
Links?
together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Monaghan, and yeah.
Well, the European Tour for me is the question mark here. So when Keith Pelly was chief exec of European Tour, they were approached by PIF. This is before Liv was even a thing, and it was a question of, we are looking to get into professional golf. We're looking to
Male professional
golf. Well, they are in obviously LET as well.
That's what I'm saying, but they were before coming into.
Oh, right, okay.
So they're like, okay, we want to get into this area, and we want to have a golf tour, and we want to be involved. And Keith Pelly decided that they were going to have this strategic partnership with the PGA Tour, which I don't think really did that many things for the European Tour. Kind of seemed to be a very one-sided agreement.
Yeah.
It was an odd one. So that's when kind of PIF went, okay, we're going to create our own golf tour. This is where we're at now. I would say, looking at it, that the European Tour is still, I would say, on the table for investment.
Right.
But there is a big thing which kind of overhangs everything for me. And that's the Ryder Cup.